virtual background. Sometime there is choose virtual background, none. Okay, this is the, yeah, I think this will be a better way of showing. I'll just make my screen larger so that I'll be able to see what you are all able to see. Yes, fine. Okay. So this is the bone model. First, I will do the demonstration. While I'm doing the demonstration, I'll explain in detail each and every instrument we are doing. As I said earlier, if there is a fracture, और एक बोन मॉडल है तो दीजिए. If there is a fracture, I fix with K-wires. The advantage of fixing with the K-wire is you can adduct the limb. So what we normally do, I'll just show in another bone because I don't want to take this out and waste our time. See, this is इधर से इधर तक. Okay. This is the fracture. Once we fix it, many of the time fracture gets reduced in abduction. Once I have fixed the fracture with K-wires, I can adduct it. So whatever the adduction I do, the more adduction I do, it will be easy for the surgeon to put the nail. Because if the limb is abducted, the pelvis comes. So I am showing my left side now. So if the limb is abducted, passing a nail is not possible easily. But if the limb is adducted, in this fashion, then what happens is you can pass the nail from the side easily into the femur bone. So that is one advantage of fixing the fracture. And once you have reduced the fracture and you have fixed the fracture, your fracture will never go into varus or fracture will never get displaced. So it's always better to fix the fracture with 2 K-wires, which I'll be showing again in the video. Now let's think that we have fixed the fracture. The next thing is we have to pass the guide wire. So passing of the guide wire is done medial to the base of the trochanter. It is called as the, so you have to confirm in CM, both in AP as well as in lateral, that you are exactly in the okay. So you have to confirm in the CM. निकाल के दीजिए, निकालिए थोड़ा. Your tip of the, you have to feel. So now you can see that it's in the center of the neck in lateral view also, and it is medial to the tip of the greater trochanter in AP view also. That is very, very important. So now once I have done this, what I normally do is I take an incision over this guide wire where I have inserted and enlarge this entry. For enlarging this entry, first we have to use a tissue protector. Wherever the incision we have taken, this tissue protector prevents the friction burns of the instrument which we are using subsequently. I don't want to now use this instrument because we are doing it on a bone model. Then over this we can use the sharp awl and enlarge the size of the hole. Many people pass the awl first and through the awl also they pass the guide wire, but I prefer to pass the guide wire first, because if you make a large hole wrong with the awl, then it will be very difficult for you to pass the guide wire. So it's better to always pass the awl first, guide wire first, confirm that they are properly placed, then you pass this awl. So now we have used the awl to make a entry good enough for the centering out to go. But since it's a bone model, what I'm going to do is first I'll remove some of the bone inside, then we'll use the proper instrumentations. T-handle. Otherwise, I will be just wasting the time during the course of this surgery. So what I am going to do is, I just want to take out the medullary canal. Or handle code. This code aliye. So give. In a live bone, this is not required. But as we are operating now, we are on a bone model which is a strong bone. करो थोड़ा करो ड्रिल करो इमरान एक फिमरचे बोन असले तर आडून दे फिमर
सचिन एक काम करना बोल मेरे पास है दूसरा
हाँ So what we are going to do is, if we can get a real bone, we'll do that because this is very strong. So otherwise we have to redo the whole thing. First we have to make the canal properly first, then only we can go ahead. So this is some of the disadvantage of using the bone like this. So there's one more bone here. We'll just see whether the canal is So I am preparing the canal first. Okay. So this is now good enough. So now what I am going to do is, now think that we have passed the guide wire. This is the guide pin. Now, as I said earlier, protector sleeve or centering awl. You have to use the protector sleeve to protect the tissue. Centering awl, yeah. Centering awl, beach wala, bada wala, 16 millimeter. T-handle. So, now I am protector sleeve, like a Solapur sleeve. Over the guide wire, you pass the protector sleeve. So again, this protector sleeve is about 18 millimeter in size. Internal diameter is 16.5. So that this 16.5 millimeter reamer can pass. Then there is a stopper. Nail dijiye. So the stopper prevents pushing of the centering awl too much inside, and whatever is the required, the expanded proximal portion of the nail, this will ream only that much. So that's the advantage of this. So I am passing the protector sleeve first. Over the protector sleeve, I am enlarging. Again, you can see that majority of the cases, just with hand, you can do this surgery. Whatever I am using the brute force, that force is not required. Now you can see this has touched. That is the end. I cannot further push it down. So don't use this protector, the centering awl without the protector sleeve. So without this, if you use, so you can more push inside, which is unnecessary. You will remove the bone from the proximal end of the femur. So that should never do. So what I have done now is, I have passed through the protector sleeve this instrument, and once I have passed this protector sleeve through the instrument, I take this out and take out the guide pin, and immediately insert a little more flexible, longer wire. Okay? So that helps in reaming if it is required, and also in passing the nail. Now the work of protector sleeve as well as the reamer is over. So we take this out, and a beaded guide wire also can be passed by exchange tube, and that will help in using the reamers. Flexible reamers are available with the set. So थोड़ा छोटा वाला दीजिए. You can use it just to size the canal. It is not exactly for the reaming purpose. It is just to know that your nail will go easily. Just to size the canal, you can pass them and find out. And if the medullary canal is narrow, definitely you can use the reamer. Give me 12 millimeter. I am intentionally showing a 12 millimeter reamer. So, and I am pass this 12 millimeter reamer and show that it can be okay. So at this stage, now it is not going inside. Reamer drill bit, the drill machine dijiye. So what I will do is, I can drill this now. So with a reamer I can drill. Since there is no reamer attachment, I don't want to do it here, but you can just use the reamer attachment and pass it over this, and you can ream up to 12 millimeter. But now I have passed this much, so I'll see whether it is adequate for the nail to go. So nail will not go. I have to ream this now. Theatre assistant la bola. Vijay Lakshmi. The reamer attachment, yeah.
So this is not for aorta.
हाँ.
Jacob पे ही जाएगा.
Jacob पे जाएगा.
Jacob पे ही जाएगा.
Okay. Anyway, we are reamed with hand only. Reamer चा attachment पाहिजे. Reaming attachment.
Reaming.
Okay, give me one more reamer. दीजिए.
13, sir.
Yeah, that's fine. I think this is enough now. We can pass a 18 centimeter nail without any problem. So I will not further waste everybody's time in trying to ream beyond this level at this stage. Okay, now reaming part is over. Now the nail, give me the nail, jig, assemblies, everything one after the other. दीजिए इधर मेरे हाथ में nail दीजिए. This is the nail which we are going to pass. There is slightly its shape has been modified. This is also slightly rhomboid in shape. There is flatter size and there is about 6 degrees of mediolateral bend. This is the nail which we are using, which is 9 millimeter demonstration nail which we are using. So the helical blade, if the hole you can see, this is not round. So this helical blade also has got a sort of this rotation will not happen. So it is vertically, it is larger diameter rather than the horizontal one. So that is the advantage of this instrument. And the helical blade part I will show right now, the screwdriver, how to open up. So first you have to hold this with a blade holder. Always you should hold with the blade holder. So don't use it with hand. See that it is totally tight. When the supply, it is tight. Now what you have to do is, you have to unlock. First your screwdriver should fit properly and unlock. So once you unlock totally, you can see that this has opened up. About 5 millimeter it has opened up. Can you see? This much. Now it is free to move. Now after inserting, while you are inserting, it rotates and goes inside. Because this is having a spiral blade, it keeps on rotating and going inside. It won't remove the bone from everywhere. Once a slot is done, in the same slot it keeps on rotating and going inside. So that is the helical blade part. Once I remove this screwdriver, you can see that gap here keeps on becoming less and less. इधर दिखाओ, इधर दिखाओ, इधर इसको दिखाओ. आप उंगली से दिखाइए, हाथ उसको पकड़िए मत. There you can see that the gap is becoming less and less. So, and at the end, once I have tightened it totally, now you can see that this helical blade cannot move and it is locked properly. Normally what happens, the mistake, normally what happens is, I will show that mistake also. Normally the assistant opens this helical blade with the screwdriver. He opens the helical blade with the screwdriver and he will play like this. He is not having any job to do, so he keeps on playing with this. This is opened up now more than what this screwdriver can compact. So now what I do is, I remove the screwdriver without checking that I take this out. The screwdriver has already come, but you can see that the helical blade is not locked. So it won't serve the purpose. So this is a very, very important step. This is the commonest mistake every surgeon does. It's not the surgeon, it's due to the OT assistant. Since you are all involved with the implant and the instrumentation supply, I'm making this point. Always see that nobody keeps on playing with this blade while you are giving it to the surgeon. So use only open. See, now it is not possible to lock it also because it has come out. It has come out totally from this, so it is sometimes not possible to lock again back in the position. So never open up without the instrumentation. That's what I want to emphasize here. Now let me assemble the whole instrumentation. The jig. First, it's a common jig for proximal locking as well as static locking, and this nail has only one slot on one side, that is on the outer side. If there was two slots on either side, there was possibility of getting confused. So here there is no possibility of getting confused, so it locks only in one position. Now you can fix this to the nail, the jig to the nail, using this T-handle wrench which comes with the set. This T-handle wrench can be used only outside the body when the nail is in your hand, because this is not having any play. But while you are removing, this cannot be easily put sometime. For that purpose, they have done another T-handle which can be moved 30 degree on either side. It is the straight position now. I can keep at 30 degree and also I can unlock the screw. So both the screwdrivers are equally good, but while you are using outside the body, it's better to use this shorter one which fits properly exactly in line with the nail, and you compact this. That's one. Now I will attach the jig also, the proximal locking jig. The proximal locking jig is having a nut and turnbuckle. There are two stubs so that it fits properly. So I'll show that stubs also. There are two stubs here so that there are two holes in the jig which fits properly, and there is a place for passing a K wire also. एक गाइड पिन दीजिए, गाइड पिन नहीं जाएगा, गाइड वायर दीजिए, छोटा दीजिए, जाता है क्या देखेंगे, उसको ही दीजिए. So there is a hole here, so that will give an idea about where the nail tip is ending. This is not very important. What we are interested is where the hole will end, but it will give an approximate idea about where the tip of the nail will be there. So now I have assembled the nail over the jig. I will pass over the guide wire. Okay, प्लेन गाइड वायर है क्या?
हाँ नहीं निकल जाएगा सर.
नहीं जाएगा.
निकल जाएगा.
Okay. Okay, this guide, the beaded guide wire can come out of the nail. So that's another advantage with the system. So you need not have to exchange the jig, guide wire for reaming and passing the nail. So I pass the nail approximately. Since I don't have the CM here, I'll use the sleeve here. Give the sleeve. इधर का sleeve. Now this I am approximately again this turnbuckle and the sleeve has got a flat surface. Flat surface should look toward the flat surface in the jig. So then push this and you can lock it. Here it is above. Okay. Now you have to, I'll just keep this little out just for demonstration purpose. Now what we have to do is we should lock this properly so that the jig will not come out. So that is very important at this stage. Now you can see that I'll keep a guide wire over the body and see. If you see from the top, it is going too inferiorly. So I am withdrawing the nail little and ask the assistant to hold it in that position. So आप इतना ही पकड़ के रखिए. Okay? Yes. That's one. And second thing is, now once I have passed the guide pin, there is this proximal locking instrument or the helical locking. There are two things which are inside. There is a guide wire sleeve which is flat on either side. It is flat on either side. When you push it inside, it separates the muzzle on either side and it goes and touches the bone. And there is a sharp trocar which makes a hole in the lateral cortex. So I am using this now. What you have to do is, after having passed this, you keep on tightening this turnbuckle. You can see that the gap here becomes less and less, and till the time it touches the lateral cortex, you keep on pressing with this. Because it is latched here properly, it won't come out. It sits properly. All the soft tissues are pushed on either side in this fashion. Now what I am going to do is I am making a dent in the lateral cortex by this trocar. This trocar I am using that makes a hole in the lateral cortex so that my guide wire passes through that properly without any problem. So now I am passing the guide wire. This guide wire is having threads in the tip. It's a 3 millimeter guide wire. It is strong guide wire. It won't bend or deflect while you are passing. Then you pass the guide wire, and with the help of reamer, you can pass it. Since it's a demonstration, I'll wait till it comes out here. But normally it should not come out. It should just stop short of that. So I'll see with another similar guide wire whether my guide wire is adequately passed or not. You can see that it is passed up to here. I can pass 1 more centimeter. Okay, I have passed the guide wire adequately now. Now the next instrument is, you have to measure the amount of guide wire which is outside. So this instrument, you can directly pass it onto the guide wire and you take a measurement. It is 85 here. It is between 80 and 85. It is little shorter than 85 but more than 80. So you have to select normally about 5 millimeter less. So since it is 85, I'll select a 80 millimeter blade and use in this case. And first thing at this stage is, take out this trocar and the guide pin, and then with a lateral opening device, you open up the lateral cortex. So this device, lateral opening device, only passes this much, only opens up the lateral cortex and enters up into the nail. It doesn't go inside the nail. So I'll pass this first. So I'm opening the lateral cortex now. Again, this has got a plunger. Since we have used this lateral cortex opening device earlier for removing the bone, it's already, there is a lot of bone which is inside this. Okay. Now you can see there is a stopper here. This is touching the lateral cortex. Now only this much amount of reaming you will be doing. That's all. So it has removed the lateral cortex bone, and now the work is over of this instrument. Now the next is using the step cut drill. The step cut drill, since we have taken a measurement of 80 millimeter, so the step cut drill only for the terminal portion for the helical blade and the proximal portion for the shaft we are using. And since we are using a 80 millimeter blade, we keep this at 80 millimeter. I kept this at 80 millimeter now. It gets locked, and in osteoporotic bone, with hand only you can remove, but in this case, let me see, again this instrument also has got bone inside. लंबा चाहिए, लॉन्ग गाइड वायर, नीचे गिरा गाइड वायर. गाइड में डालेंगे, नहीं जाएगा, उस लंबा नहीं है. ओके, छोड़ी. Okay. 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 Now I will lock this at 80 millimeter, and now I am using. It's a small tip for those who understand. Normally we drill in a rotation fashion that takes out the bone. The bone will get accumulated in the slots or the flutes. But here, in an osteoporotic bone, I rotate in the anti-clockwise direction. You see, I am not passing in this direction, but I am passing either to and fro motion or I am using only anti-clockwise direction. The reason is whatever the bone this reamer is going to drill, take out, it will all get pushed to the periphery instead of coming out along with the step cut drill. So in a osteoporotic bone, this is a very, very useful step. So I have done it up to 80 millimeter. At this stage, you can confirm under CM whether it is properly or not. And since I am using this bolt, I'll measure this. How much this is?
80, sir.
80. Then since
85, sir.
85. Since it is 85, I am going to use. So I'll keep another 5 millimeter and ream it. But since it is a only one set I have got, I am using this. But otherwise, normally, whatever is required, you have to pass properly. So the guide wire has come. So again, I am passing the guide wire. Now again, I am showing this is totally locked at this stage. It's not moving. So with the screwdriver, I am going to take this out. While we are taking this out, you can see that I am rotating anti-clockwise. So now you can see this is loose, and now I'll pass this and hammer this. So counter support. I have to just hammer, nothing else I have to do. I need not to see in the CM also. The reason is we have already taken the measurement. We have only reamed up to that much. Once this touches here, that's the end. Once the screwdriver touches the sleeve, that's all. So that work is over. Now for you all to see, I just will unlock and show, but normally we don't do that. I just unlock and take this slightly out so that you can see how much this has come out. You can see that it has been hammered quite well inside. Still I can hammer little more. Okay. Now I will tighten the screwdriver. I will tighten the screwdriver. I'll take out the sleeve for you to see properly. Okay. Now I am taking out the screwdriver. This will compact the fracture. Since there is no fracture here, that helical blade will come back. But in an intertrochanteric fracture, that will compact the fracture. Once it is compactation is over, it will come back in this fashion. So at this stage, if you are not still happy with the fracture compression, you can still compress using this system. You can just try to push the lateral cortex inside. So you can push the lateral cortex inside. That will achieve little more compression. So passing the helical blade part is over. Now I'll take out the jig and the guide wire. So you can see that it's sitting quite well. Since it's a hard bone, we are not drilled properly. It's slightly out. Otherwise, it was in flush with the bone. It sits without any problem. Now, to do a distal locking, we can do a static locking. और एक nail है? छोटा nail है था? नहीं है. Okay, छोटा nail चाहिए था. ठीक है. वो एक bolt दीजिए. Think that this is a shorter nail I am doing. By passing a bolt from here, you can do a static locking in this fashion. But as I said earlier, I don't like static locking. I will only do distal dynamic locking. So what I'll do is, I take out this jig and attach the dynamic locking jig.
नहीं सर, इसी में हो जाएगा सर.
Dynamic किधर है?
नहीं, इसमें static है.
So I am attaching now the dynamic locking jig. Here the dynamic locking jig, you can see that the hole is parallel. We have used 170 degree nail, no? With
नहीं 200 है सर.
200 है.
200 है.
Okay, we have used a 200 millimeter nail. So we will drill for the 200 millimeter hole. Drill bit. एक किधर निकाले नहीं. Okay. आपको कुछ मालूम नहीं है क्या? ठीक है, ठीक है। ड्रिल बिट
Drill bit, sir.
यही है क्या?
Yes, sir.
पतला दिख रहा है।
कोई same है, sir.
ओके, ओके गिर गया okay, so the length is little less. I have to आ गया. So I have done the drilling. Now I'll pass the bolt. So this is the bolt we have selected. Probably this will be little shorter, but anyway, that's okay. So this bolt will be in the lower part of the nail. So always use a bolt which is 2 millimeter outside here, 2 millimeter outside on the opposite side. Here it is little short. Since I have only one bolt, I am doing that with that only. So this is about the surgery. Now set screw or end cap. I'll remove the jig attachment. For removal of the jig, you can see that the T handle I am using can be put at any different angle which is convenient for the surgeon and take out. So that's the usefulness of this instrument. That's one. And at the end of the surgery we put a end cap. So end cap is not there today. So you can put an end cap so that the bone overgrowth can be prevented. Now coming to the removal set. So if you want to remove this instrument for whatever the reason, you attach this removal set, and once you attach and rotate this, the helical blade gets unlocked. So helical blade gets unlocked, and with the hammer you can take out the, you can see here, you can take out that helical blade. Once you take out the helical blade, it is unlocked, because while passing this instrument I have already unlocked it, and now we can remove apply the top bolt extractor rod here, and there is a separate extractor rod which comes with this set. You apply the extractor rod and take out the distal locking. You have to take out the distal locking and extract the bolt. So I am showing the extraction also because sometime we will not know which instrument is to be used where. So what the usefulness of this instrument. So now I have extracted the neck screw helical blade as well as the locking screw. I can extract the nail in this fashion, which comes out. So this is about the technique of doing the surgery. I think I have shown all the instrument while doing the surgery itself, so I don't want to further take up your time.